Hey everyone, we are so excited to have you join us today. We are going to be talking about morning routines and whether or not they're right for busy moms. Balancing building a successful business and being a superstar mom is hard, and yet in today's digital world, it's more common than ever.
The question becomes, how do we successfully grow a business and children at the same time?
Join us for a candid conversation as we share our insights into marketing and motherhood. I'm Angela Reeder.
And I'm Jessie Valle. Welcome to the Marketing Moms Podcast.
It's so funny that this topic came up for us. I actually just had in like a Women in Tech Slack channel that I'm in, someone asked, like, what is your morning routine? What kind of morning routine you had? And it was really interesting to see just the wide range of answers from like, I have this specific 8-step routine every morning to people being like, I don't know, I just get up and do the day.
Yeah. At first I was sitting here like, I don't have a morning routine, but then I realized some of the habits that you fall into they make up your routine. It is a routine.
Yeah. I was the same way. I was like, I don't know that I have a morning routine, but then I thought about it and I was like, I kind of do though. Like I have things that I do every morning kind of in the same order ish.
Yeah. And so for that reason, Angela and I kind of compiled short lists of reasons we should have morning routines and reasons maybe against it, that we should not have strict morning routines. Right.
I think that's the big key too, is that strict morning
because
routine.
I feel like no matter what, you fall into some sort of routine.
Yeah. And when you're a mom, having a very rigid schedule and routine can be difficult.
Yeah. So it makes me think, when I think of, I don't know, social media, right? All the uber successful people, I feel like the consensus is it's a good idea to have morning routines.
Yeah. The flip side of that is most of those successful people, their morning routine starts at like 4 a.m.
I know.
And I'm not doing that.
No. 4 a.m, or it's kind of like some of the other conversations we've had in the past about taking advice from non-busy moms.
Right.
Taking advice from people with grown children.
Right.
Taking advice from people who do not have children.
Yeah.
Taking advice from people who don't have the responsibility of children. So it's really hard to take advice from people who aren't in the same situation you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's easy for someone who doesn't have children to say, well, just wake up at 4 a.m. and, exercise for an hour and then do this thing and do that thing. Like,
it's like, oh, were you up 5 times with a child saying they had a nightmare all night?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was up for 2 hours with a sick kid last night.
Yeah, I would rather not wake up at 4 a.m. for that. Thanks. Okay, so what is your routine, Angela?
So I generally get up and have a cup of coffee in my kitchen. Now, it's different, and I know we've talked about seasons on the podcast in the past. It's different in the summer because in the summer I go out on my deck and have coffee, and I have like a nice long, I get to be outside without my kids, and my kids know it kind of thing because my kids are a little older. But during the school year, I will typically get up and sit at the kitchen table and have coffee while my oldest gets ready. And then I will get dressed real quick, take her to school, come home, have the littles getting ready and get them onto the bus. And then from there, it just kind of depends on the day. So mostly coffee and getting the kids ready.
Yeah. I would say for me, well, I mean, and here's the thing, I don't think you remembered, unless your husband handles this in his routine, but feeding the animals.
Oh yeah, I do that first thing when I wake up.
You have a lot of animals.
I do have a lot of animals, and I do feed them before I get coffee. As a matter of fact, they all get fed. And I let the chickens out when I get back from taking my daughter to school. So I forgot that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So the interesting thing is, so now that I have a new puppy, my routine has changed. In fact, this morning when I woke up a whole 30 minutes early to make sure I could account for taking care of the dog before I met Angela, to make sure I wasn't late. Like, I felt like the last couple times I've been running a little late. So I was like, this is what it means to get a new dog. I have to change my routine. I can't wake up at that time. I now need to account for the dog. So get up, take the dog out, come back inside, feed her while I'm getting my coffee. And yeah, if I need to, get dressed, it's debatable whether I get dressed to see Angela or not. Sometimes it's just toss on bathrobe, go. And yeah, like the thing is that then it continues. If it's a morning I meet with Angela, then it's not till after we're done that I'm like, okay, now I'm going to do my hair and my makeup for all my meetings. Or if it's not a day I'm meeting with you, then maybe I do sit down and enjoy my coffee before.
Right.
So I think that's another thing is your morning routine does not have to be exactly the same every single day, because every single day is not the same.
Right.
And just like you mentioned, your summer routine is different than your school year routine because the days aren't the same. And that's kind of how I feel too. Like, okay, well, if I meet with Angela, my day is different already than the days that I don't meet with her. So while I feel like at this point, it feels very much like basics. Feed the kids, feed the animals.
Coffee.
Like, dude, oh yeah, maybe get dressed. Like,
yeah.
It's because to me, it's really hard to fit anything else in or prioritize anything else when you're a busy mom. I mean, for some people, they need a reflection time. They need yoga, they need journaling, they need those things. And I support you. But that's not what I need. And I think that's another thing, as maybe we discuss later on, some things that other people do in their routines. We have to keep in mind that their needs and their habits and their tendencies, it's kind of like the 5 love languages, right? Like different things fill our cups. So what fills my cup is different than what fills your cup. So Angela and I can sit here and talk all day long about what the perfect morning routine is, which FYI, there is none. But what's perfect for me is not what's perfect for you, which is not perfect for Angela. And so when we have these conversations, again, we're trying to be realistic here. We're not telling you what to do. We're just giving you ideas and saying, you have to figure it out on your own. And that sucks to hear, but ultimately you're going to be the happiest for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So what are some reasons to have a morning routine?
Okay. So if we want to set in stone a morning routine, one reason for it is it kind of sets the tone for the day, right? So some people think that it helps you focus, you're in control. It's kind of like an intention. I'm starting my day this way.
Right.
Now, I actually recently heard or read in a book about willpower and how it kind of wanes throughout the day, because willpower is not something you can just like call up. It's something that your energy determines your amount of willpower. And guess what? You are most full first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So if there's something you really want to do, it should probably be done first thing in the morning. That's when you have the strongest willpower to do the hard things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't do it later. It's just much harder.
It's the eat the frog idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Only whether that's business related or personal related, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think yes, that definitely can set the tone for the day. And I know that's like one of the reasons they will tell you you should always eat breakfast. You should every day get dressed, even if you work from home, because it helps kind of set the tone and give your brain that little boost of like, I'm doing a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that.
Yeah. And that kind of rolls into the next reason, which is it can also increase your productivity because maybe you're setting aside time and prioritizing time for essential tasks, right?
Right.
Like maybe there is something that like it's hard to use the word essential tasks because what's essential to me is not what's essential to you
Right.
unless it's feeding living
Feeding the
beings,
children.
okay? And coffee, always
Yes,
coffee.
coffee, always coffee.
But other than that, it's really hard to call anything essential because what's essential to me is not what's essential to you. It's essential for some people to put on a full face of makeup and eyelashes and lipstick and all the things every day to feel like themselves. And then there are some people who couldn't care less about makeup, period.
Right.
So it's really hard to tell someone what they should find essential because, again, what fills my cup is not what fills your cup. But I
I
think
think
it is important to figure out what you want to prioritize in your life.
mm-hmm.
And if you're able to prioritize fitting that in your morning routine, I feel like it would set the tone for your day because you feel
Yeah.
like it's not just accomplishing the thing, it's also feeling good about it. Like maybe you want to fit in reading a business book 10 minutes a day. It's going to give you that boost of confidence of, wow, I did it and I feel good and I did what I want to do. Now let's go tackle the day.
Yeah, I think if you were to try and set up a morning routine, and I know that's something we're going to talk about like in our private podcast, um, that would be one of the places to start is figure out what is that I have to get it done
Mm-hmm.
essential task for you, for your family.
Mm-hmm. But I also want you to figure out what it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
Like in a perfect world, I would do this. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How can we at least make a piece of that happen, if not
Yeah.
all of it?
I like that.
Okay. Another reason for having a morning routine is kind of like what we were just talking about. If you are able to take something that you want that may not be
Mm-hmm.
essential, but it's something that you want for your life and you want to move in that direction, it's actually going to help maybe your physical and mental well-being.
Yeah. I know a lot of people incorporate like meditation or exercise into their morning routine. I can't exercise. I used to when I was doing yoga every day. I would do it in the morning. I made that part of my morning routine. I don't do meditation anyway, but the form of it that I do, I can't do first thing in the morning because my brain doesn't work that way.
It doesn't yours include some dance music?
It does. Yes.
I'm like,
It
that is
includes.
not happening first thing in the morning. Thanks.
No, not first thing in the morning. My brain can't handle that. First thing in the morning, I will be distracted all day with a running playlist in my head if I
Mm-hmm.
try to do that. But I did used to do yoga when I was doing yoga every day. I did it in the morning and it did
Yeah.
help. Like it kind of gave me a sense of accomplishment. I did this thing, I did the hard
Mm-hmm.
thing because routines and habits are difficult for me.
Yeah.
So like I did the hard thing and kind of give that boost of motivation you can use to ride through the rest of the day.
Yeah. So those are reasons that you might consider morning routines. So let's look at the other side of the coin. Why is it not a good idea to set up a morning routine?
I feel like that's a really controversial take. I don't remember ever seeing an article that's like, you should not have a morning routine.
Honestly, I would rephrase it to reasons to not have a strict 8-step
Yeah.
morning routine.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
first
I think,
reason, what do you think?
oh, I was just going to say, I think the first reason being that that can be really stressful if
Mm-hmm.
something throws a wrench into your routine, which happens a lot when
Yeah.
you're a busy mom.
I already said that every day is different
Yeah.
because maybe you have different meetings. Maybe your kids have different before school activities.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know, like every single day is different. If I
Yes.
have to perform an 87-step morning routine, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to fail at it and I'm going to feel crappy about myself immediately.
Yes. Let me tell you really quickly. So coffee is an essential. We've already
Of course,
established that.
we've established that.
So a couple weeks ago, I had to take one of my kids to the doctor really early in the morning. It was really far away. It's in the closest big city to us. And I got up. It was super busy, running late, trying to get ready for an appointment that is not normal to our morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get a chance to have my coffee.
Oh boy.
Right. So I wash out my to-go cup, put coffee in it, roll out the door. I'm halfway to this appointment. I go to take a drink of coffee and I realize my cup did not get rinsed out the way it should have been. And now all of my coffee tastes like soap.
Oh.
My oldest is.
That was my appointment.
Yeah, that was my oldest. So I was like, oh my gosh. So now I'm trying to go to this appointment. I haven't had my coffee. The coffee I have tastes like soap. I'm in the middle of construction trying to drive on streets that are unfamiliar to me. It was a mess. And then we started back. I stopped at McDonald's to get coffee. They didn't give us straws, so I had to go around and go in and get the straw. Started back, and it was so sweet. Like, I got a caramel macchiato, and it tasted like just caramel with milk.
I mean,
so I had to
I'm all for the sweeter the better.
You are, yeah. So I had to wait until I got home to put, like, actual coffee in my coffee. And I told my husband, I was like, I can't with the whole day today. Like, my one essential thing just out the window until almost noon. I was like, I just can't today. I don't care what's on my schedule. I don't care.
And if you didn't have a caffeine headache by then, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I definitely did. I was definitely had a caffeine. I'm normally like 3 cups of coffee in by then. So I was just like, my whole morning routine out the window. And I can't even imagine, because coffee's my thing. I can't even imagine if I'd had like a big 8-step routine that got thrown off.
This was just a 1-step that got blown out.
It was my 1-step routine.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense, right? So the stress that you get from something going awry, which is gonna happen as a busy mom, like, period. Like, we know it. It's inevitable. It's not an if, it's a when.
It's a when. Yes.
It's a when. Having a solid, rigid
strict
morning routine that's not flexible is gonna be, I think, more detrimental than helpful.
I think so too. I think when you have that really strict, rigid routine, there's way more opportunity for something to go awry and throw it off than if you just have, all I need is my cup of coffee in the morning.
And let's look at this from a different way. Having a set, rigid morning routine could actually stifle your spontaneity, creativity.
That's true.
Like, what if you just wake up and it is the most gorgeous day ever? And instead of doing all those things, you're like, you know what? I'm going to take the dogs and we're going for an extra long walk.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a strict morning routine that doesn't allow for that creativity, you could lose that opportunity. And I saw your eyes light up. And it's like, you would lose that opportunity to do something that makes you happy, that lights you up, that's taking advantage of the situation, which is a beautiful, gorgeous day outside.
Yep, I agree. I think it does kind of, And again, like the rigid routine more so than just a routine in general.
Right. Okay. And then one last reason why morning routines might not be the best thing is if it's not well designed, it could take way too much time,
Oh,
and then
yeah,
your
you get
mornings
all
feel super
rushed.
rushed.
Yeah.
Unless you wake up at 4 a.m., which we've already established
Yeah,
is
which we've
not
already said is not
is probably not going to
ideal.
happen for most of us busy moms. Now, you may be a morning person,
Mm-hmm.
and so you go to
Yeah, if
bed at
you're a
like
4
7
a.m. person,
p.m. before the
more
kids.
power to
Okay, you
you.
can't do that. You may go to bed when the kids go to bed. Cool. Some of us need wind down after that, just saying.
Yes.
And you may wake up at 4 a.m. happily. We are not those people.
Yes. If you are not a 4 a.m. person, having a very long routine can definitely, especially if you have other things going on too,
Mhm.
like trying to get the kids ready for school, trying to feed the animals.
Yeah. And I know that, again, we're different. Everyone's different types of people. I know myself. And I know that when I have things on my to-do list, I'm more relaxed after they're done. And Angela and I have talked about this before because she can get up, sit down, enjoy a cup of coffee before starting her day. And I just can't. I'm like, I don't have time to sit and enjoy a cup of coffee. I have things to do. And I'm the type that will sit and enjoy the cup of coffee after everything's done. Because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
everything's done. I can sit and enjoy this cup of coffee. And Angela's not like that. And so
No.
you have to know yourself. For me, having a strict long morning routine is going to be way too stressful because I'm over here like I'm sitting here trying to meditate or whatever, and I'm
Right.
wasting time because I should be working on this project that's due tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah, and I have too much stuff going on in my house to have a really strict, like I have too many animals and too many kids and too many before after school stuffs to
Mhm.
to really make a very long strict routine happen for me.
Yeah. So I would say at the end of all of this, there is a happy medium.
Yeah.
There is a way to set priorities even without setting a strict, rigid routine of do this, then this, then this, then this.
Yeah.
I would say maybe it's more of like a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Did I take time to show gratitude?
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you want to check, it doesn't matter whether it's 5 seconds of I'm grateful to be alive today, or whether
Mm-hmm.
it's 20 minutes of writing in a gratitude journal. It doesn't matter. It gets checked off.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe some days you can afford the time to sit down and do that, and some days you can't. But as long as you allow that flexibility, it could lead to happier mama,
Yes.
happier, more
More
family,
productive.
more
Yes.
productive, happier, at peace. You're finding that balance that we're striving for without being too rigid about it
Mm-hmm.
because it's very fluid, which we've had conversations about what balance looks like. So, I have a lot more to say about this topic when it comes to what a specific morning routine could look like, and then also what other quote unquote successful people are doing with their morning routines. But we've run out of time. So, Angela and I have decided that there will be a part 2 to this conversation. However, you need to be a part of Marketing Moms Monthly to access that in our private podcast episode. That private podcast episode typically goes 2-ish hours or more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's once a month. We dig into not only deeper topics like this one, we also bring on guests. We have different segments of our own.
Yeah.
We talk about moms in the news and special hacks and things like
Yep.
all the things, and time for Q&A from our members, answering their specific questions about their life, their business, their families, their everything. So if that interests you, or you just want to peek behind the curtain and see what it's all about, check it out, marketingmomsmonthly.com. You can get a free 30 days, so you can get in there, see what's going on.
Access to Jesse and I.
Direct access in our community, because we have a private online forum. And so you can get in there, talk to us, have conversations with us, have us look at things like we mentioned in previous episodes. Hey, we could take a look at a promotion you're doing in your business or things like that. So if you're interested in having more direct access to Angela and myself, who are both busy moms who have been in business for 7 or 8 years, just please, marketingmomsmonthly.com. Come join us. Come say hi. Even if it's for the free month, we would love to have you join the conversation. So we will see you there. Bye. Thank you for joining us today. We're so honored this is where you chose to spend your time.
If this episode helped you in some way, please share it with another mom who needs to hear it. We're in this together.
And if you're ready for next steps, free goodies, and more, head over to marketingmomspodcast.com.
We'll see you next week.